are live and a little bit late. Hello everybody and welcome to the Richmond Raceway for the Integrity Racing League 2021 season, live here at Richmond. 2 races away from the playoffs, and we come to the action track, the .75 mile short track here in Richmond, Virginia. 170 laps of action here tonight with Ethan Lane starting on pole. Going into tonight's race, we got a lot of storylines to cover, and Ethan Lane going to be one of the drivers that we're going to be covering throughout the race, likely because he's going to be out front. He is one of the winningest drivers this season. He doesn't have any signs of slowing down. Last week it was Alec Daffin taking victory at the Daytona International Speedway. Tonight he starts in 6th, going after his 2nd win in a row. Daffin, one of the drivers who I think could be pretty good at this track here at Richmond. Other things to go over really quickly because I am running a little bit behind. 12 drivers make the playoffs. Right now we have had 6 different winners. The last driver in on points is Kevin Matz. He is 7 points safe of the cut line, with Todd Thomas chasing him down 7 points back. That's all we got time for in the pre-race show. Pace car is rolling into 3 and 4 now, and it's time to get this race from Richmond underway. One of the more clean short tracks on the schedule, 170 laps ahead of these drivers. Ethan Lane starting out in clean air. Pace car is in. Here we go down the front straightaway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's go from Richmond. And they all make it through safely. Turn 1, down the back straightaway into turn 3. Ethan Lane, far and away the fastest driver on track, leads them, but Brad Patton from 2nd is closing in. He's on the bumper at the conclusion of lap 1, goes to the inside, and he's going to look for the lead into turn number 1. Brad Patton in that bright pink number 1 machine looking to take away the lead here at Richmond. Couple of cars shuffling around to the back. Michael Dewell sideways coming off turn number 2 as Patton runs Lane up the track there, door to door, coming off turn number 4. Lap 3 now underway, and Patton gets sideways on the inside. Brad Patton still trying to use that inside line, but Richmond, one of the tracks that got grip lane updates a couple of builds ago. That high line has a lot of grip in it, and we're seeing Ethan Lane use that to its full extent out front in the wind here at Richmond. Meanwhile, behind, one driver that we haven't seen before in the Integrity Racing League, Blake Giglio, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Giglio, one of those two, is running inside the 6th position. Solid run for him in his first Integrity Racing League start. Meanwhile, Tom Wetmore side by side with Kevin Matz, putting together a solid run so far. He is looking to maintain his spot in the playoffs as Todd Thomas, the first driver outside the playoffs, looks to knock him out of it. But Kevin Matz, he's been one of the more consistent drivers all season, and right now he is running strong inside the top 10. Car might have gotten in the wall there off turn number 2. I believe that was Travis Scamurda, who nearly tagged the outside wall. Sorry, Scramita, as he's side by side with Todd Thomas. Thomas, the driver, 7 points outside of the playoffs, going to the inside for that 13th spot on track. Thomas needs to try and get as many spots as he can out of this race. The pressure for that 78 car, or 6 car, he's kind of been running the wrong number all season, is on. Especially as we're only 2 races away from the playoffs. You know, Thomas, he's got to make up 7 points on Kevin Matz, and right now Matz is running inside the top 10, but falling quickly as Guillermo Alvarez and Justin Trombley run him down from 11th and 12th. Matz just not able to run that outside line like he'd like. Now he gets Alvarez in that 83 car under him, as Brad Patton is taking away the lead at the front of the field. The number 1 car is now in the number 1 spot, rolling the middle on Ethan Lane. Nick Tarabuck trying to run down Lane from 2nd. Cody Smith there in 4th. Bit of a mixed up top 5. We haven't seen a lot of these drivers up near the front all season, as Alec Daffin might have issues. He is blinking out right now and being scored P19. We'll see if he comes back into the race. But it's all Justin Trombley up front as Alec Daffin comes back in. He remains P6. Blake Giglio behind. Tom Wetmore is there as well. Single file for most of the field, but here comes Todd Thomas down the inside of Travis Scramita going into turn 3. Thomas, like I said, needs to take as many points out of Matz's points lead as he can, and right now, he is gaining on him. They're separated by one car on track, that being the 35 of Stromita, and that's not going to be an issue for long as Thomas rolls down the inside of the 35 car, takes away 13th and sets his sights on the driver, holding that final playoff spot. Stromita back to the inside. That'll let Todd Thomas block the inside and gets him up the inside of Matt's. Now Matt's falling back even further as Todd Thomas gets in front of him. 3 wide down the front straightaway. This is not what Todd Thomas needed to see. He needed to be fighting up towards the front of the field, and right now he is falling quickly towards the back. It's a block by Travis Stromita going into turn 3. We'll put Heisman on the back foot. Might let Matz fight back, but he's just not aggressive enough on the power. That might let Jorge Canales close up. As Ethan Lane is falling back, Brad Patton now has a 0.6 of a second lead. Daffin blinks out again. He's headed to the back. Justin Trombley moving down the inside of Guillermo Alvarez. We haven't seen Trombley in this league in a while. He won a lot of races in the early half of the season and then just kind of dipped throughout the middle half of the season. And now he's back fighting for 10th with Guillermo Alvarez. He's going to roll his number 34 down the inside and bring Todd Thomas with him. One thing Todd Thomas can do to try and maximize his points haul in this race is stage points. And right now he is getting closer to that top 10. Every point that he can get is going to count towards the playoffs. And right now he's looking solid to try and get some stage points in this race. He's actually in 12th right now with Daffin blinking out. Once again, Thomas rolls the inside. Going to push Alvarez up the track and tries to diamond on exit, try to keep his car straight, foot to the floor. Not going to work. Alvarez holds on to 11th. Justin Trombley continuing his charge through the field. One of the only Mustangs in this field, running down Jacob Fife from 9th, or for 9th rather. He's rolling down the inside. A lot of these drivers taking a slightly different line than each other here at Richmond. Take a look at Fife down in turn number 1. He's actually going to run all the way on the bottom, but I think we're going to see a couple of drivers running about a quarter of a lane off the bottom. Not Justin Trombley, though. He's actually utilizing the apron to try and give himself a little bit more speed as he dives over to the left-hand side on Jacob Fife. Fife opens the door. Trombley looks down the inside. Fife going to get the run off turn number 4, and Trombley will have to stay behind for now. Eight tenths of a second between Patton and Lane for the top spot. Bit of a 4-car breakaway at the front with Michael Dewell having a 1-second gap back to the car in front of him. Here comes Trombley with another look off turn number 4. Not going to work. I'm interested to see, by the way, if anyone decides to try the high line here at Richmond with those grip lane updates. That high line can certainly work if you run it correctly. So I think that as these tires wear, we might see drivers look around a little bit. He's back up at the front of the field. Brad Patton continuing to lead in that bright pink number 1 car. Todd Thomas, meanwhile, continues to try and work on Guillermo Alvarez, but gets a little sideways off turn number 2. But he's got to try and get around Alvarez quickly so he can try and run down the cars in front of him and get some stage points. And a big gaggle of cars in front of these guys as Alec Daffin is side by side with Michael Dewell for the 5th spot. That'll let Giglio go down the inside as well. Wetmore's up in the fight. They're looking to go 3 wide. Fife is rolling up on this battle. Giglio side by side with Dewell. That's for 6th. Now Fife moving down the inside of Wetmore, but backs out by the time they get to turn 1. That might let Trombley roll to the outside. He's not going to do it for now. Dewell's falling back. Giglio down the inside. Wetmore down the inside. Wetmore gets the run off turn 2. Trombley now to the inside of Fife. A lot of cars fighting for a lot of spots here as here comes Justin Trombley. Moving down the inside. Wetmore clears Dewell. Dewell's falling back on the long run. Wetmore's up to 7th. Now Trombley back on the inside of Fife is going to pack in into turn number 1. He moves himself up to 9th, washes up the track into Fife, but diamonds the exit and gets a good run down the back straightaway. Now he'll get to the inside of Michael Dewell, and that'll make it 2 spots in 1 lap for Justin Trombley as he is up in 8th. And this is a good opportunity for Todd Thomas to try and take away some spots here. He's got a couple of drivers in his sights right now as he rolls down the inside, but Alvarez running a little bit of a higher line, going to give him the run off. That'll put Alvarez to the inside of Dewell, but not all the way alongside. Dewell still stays out of the way, though. Now that'll let Alvarez move down the inside as Todd Thomas moves down the inside of Dewell as well. Dewell looking to be a bit of a free spot here for Todd Thomas, as Dewell has not had the long run pace that he needs. Thomas down the inside, and he is going to try and make this pass. 3 cars in a blanket here behind Guillermo Alvarez. Doesn't look like there's stages listed out for tonight's race, so that's kind of interesting. As Todd Thomas moves himself up into P11. One more spot, and that'll give him a stage point in this race. Thomas does complete the pass. He is up into that 11th spot. Now here comes Scramita down the inside of Dewell. Scramita tries to drive it off the corner, but Dewell fights back on the high side. They're going to stay side by side for now. I think Scramita is going to have the spot in turn 1. Yes, he will. That matte black and metallic red number 35 has moved himself up on a 12th as Thomas continues to try and run down those in front of him. Now Blake Giglio trying to get onto the back bumper of Alec Daffin. And here's what I was talking about. You see Giglio moving up the track in the entrance to 1 and 2. It gives him a great run off the corner, and those grip lanes on the high side really promoting some multi-groove style racing as Jacob Fife moves his way down the inside of Tom Wetmore. Wetmore not looking to fight this too much. Fife moves himself up into 8th. Alvarez looking for a spot as well. As now Giglio under attack from Justin Trombley, who packs it into turn 1, drifts up the middle of the corner, and drives it off on exit. That'll put him closer to the bumper of Giglio as Fife does have the pass done. Now here comes Trombley right down the inside of Giglio and gets the pass done to 6th. Alvarez now side by side with Wetmore. He's going to fall back. Todd Thomas maybe looking to take advantage of those two fighting as they all go down into turn 1 side by side. Thomas rolls the center of the corner nicely, and now Alvarez still trying to go down the inside of Wetmore, who appears to be struggling on the long run here. Wetmore slots back behind Alvarez, looking for a crossover that he cannot get done. Might let Todd Thomas get a run here off turn number 4. Doesn't look like it. Thomas again rolls the center of the corner. But Wetmore now gets a run on Alvarez. Wetmore looks to the inside, but doesn't make a move into turn 3. We are on lap 31, and Ethan Lane is starting to reel down Brad Patton for the lead. Update on the front runners. I want to see what kind of lines they're taking, and as I suspected, Ethan Lane running about that quarter of a lane off the bottom of the racetrack, and that appears to be the preferred line here on the long runs here at Richmond. Maybe not in 3 and 4 is Ethan Lane flirting with the middle of the racetrack. That's definitely an interesting line to take. He gives him a nice launch down the start-finish straight. It's certainly not working out for him too well as Ethan Lane way up the track. He's really trying around with some different lines. I like it. You got to go for it here at Richmond, you know? Try some different things. See if they work. It certainly worked that time. He gained about 1/10 of a second on Brad Patton. His Lane is back to the top. Doesn't appear to be working as well in 3 and 4 as 1 and 2, but I know that Lane, the driver, the caliber driver that he is definitely taking note of where that high line's working and where it isn't. He tries again to get the drive off turn number 2, and that appears to be where the high line is really prevailing. Down the back straightaway, gives him about 5/100ths of a second. He is back to the high side, nearly tags the wall, but look at the run he's going to get off the corner. Look at the delta on the left-hand side of the screen. It comes down by about 2/10 of a second down the length of the straightaway, but I think he's realizing that the high line isn't working as well in 3 and 4. He goes back to the bottom. So we got a battle for 7th. Jacob Fife down the inside of Alec Daffin. Fife appears to be fast on the long runs. Daffin might be falling off a little bit. Todd Thomas, meanwhile, has been overtaken by the 35 of Travis Scramito, which might hurt his chances at getting stage points. Duel is coming back at him as well, but he doesn't have to worry about Kevin Matz, who is still being outran by him. Back to the battle for 7th as Jacob Fife continues to work his way down the inside of Daffin. Pushes him up the track with his right rear quarter panel a little bit. Gets the run off turn number 2. but can't quite clear up. He stays side by side with a 48 car. Fife again shoots it up the racetrack, drives it down on exit, but that didn't play out for him that time by. Daffin got the run. Gap the front's coming down again. Ethan Lane has it down to 0.5 of a second. Daffin and Fife still going at it for 7th. Fife down the inside again, but it's just leaving a little bit too much racetrack open for Daffin on the high side in a 3 and 4 especially. We'll see if he does it again in a 1 and 2, but he's just got a little bit closer. He's got to get a little bit closer to the door of the 48. He rolls it up the track, drives it down on exit. Daffin slow a little bit off 2. Fife gets a little sideways, still can't get around him. The gap at the front continues to come down. We got trouble. Jorge Canales in the outside wall off turn number 4, and that stacked up the leaders. Quick replay of what happened, and he got hit by the 70 of Kent Wetherill, and that was going on right in front of the leaders. I think there might have been a little bit of a scrap going on between those two. Have a feeling that might draw the attention of league admin Don Stevenson. Is that Cody Smith coming into the pits? No, someone's coming into the pits. Can't tell who it was, but lap traffic already playing a factor in this race. Gap at the front down to 0.5 of a second, and unfortunately Nick Tarabuck 1.1 seconds off the lead because of that fight going on with the lap cars, as here comes Heichman down the inside, a duel for 13th. Easily done by Heichman. That purple and gold car is up to 13th. Meanwhile, this fight between Daffin and Fife is still going on. Neither of them able to inch ahead off turn number 4. Jacob Fife, winner, I believe, twice this season, I want to say? No, winner once this season, back at Atlanta. He's going into turn 3. Daffin actually able to stay ahead of Fife. Cody Smith, meanwhile, has been gaining on Nick Tarabuck. Ran a little bit slower last time by, but the gap between those two has certainly come down. Cody Smith been one of the most consistent drivers in this league. He has yet to break through with a victory, but he is sitting very solidly in the points. Currently 8th in points. The second driver not in with a win, the first driver not in with a win, would be the 4 of Nick Tarabuck. He is the highest driver on points that has not won a race. Tarabuck, though, looking to reverse his luck a little bit tonight as Trombley gets around Wetherill, the lap car. But Nick Tarabuck looking to reverse his luck tonight and go after that first win of the season. He's definitely had very consistent and very solid pace, but it just hasn't been enough to break through for the victory. As Ethan Lane moving to the middle of the racetrack, trying that middle line out as he tries to run down Brad Patton for that top spot. Last time by, though, Tarabuck actually ran faster than both of the leaders. He did it again this time by. Patton ran a 23.865, Lane ran a 23.832, and Nick Tarabuck ran a 23.783. He is the fastest driver of the top 5. Correction, second fastest driver of the top 5, because Justin Trombley is the fastest. He is still away, quite a ways off the lead, as pit stops might be starting soon. We've gone green for 45 laps, and I believe that might be getting close to the end of the fuel window. Look at Ethan Lane all the way on the apron through 1 and 2. I don't know if that was intentional. Definitely didn't work out for him, though. Tarabuck has cut the gap down to Ethan Lane quite a bit. Last time by, he ran faster than Lane by almost 0.2 of a second, but granted that Lane did get on the apron through 1 and 2, which hurt him quite a bit. Now Lane back to the top side in 1 and 2, which worked out for him the last time he went up there. Not quite as much anymore. As the tires wear, that launch off the corner is getting worse for the high line, but that's not going to discourage Ethan Lane from trying it. He might just be diving it down a little bit too much off turn 4. It's not really helping his momentum to stack up that much in the middle of the corner. I think he saw that. He goes back to the bottom. .5 of a second between Patton and Lane for the top spot. Nick Tarabuck still trying to run him down from 3rd. His pace is dropping off a little bit. Ethan Lane appears to have found something that worked his last time by. He ran about 2/10 faster than Brad Patton and has the gap down to under 5/10 of a second. Lane and Patton still trading lap times a little bit here. Ethan Lane flirting with a couple different lanes, but mainly sticking to the bottom, it looks like, which surprises me a little bit. He appeared to be faster around the middle in 1 and 2, but he did gain that time by. Fuel window is probably going to come, how would I say this? The fuel window is going to open? I don't know. What I'm trying to say is probably soon they're going to have to stop for fuel. Once again, Ethan Lane rolling the bottom a lot closer to that yellow line than Brad Patton does. Again, right on the bottom lane. Ethan Lane has found something in that number 26 machine, and he is rolling up fast on the bumper of Brad Patton. Lap 51 of 170 underway. Another dive to the bottom by Ethan Lane. Here at Richmond, though, it's one thing to catch a guy, it's another thing to pass him. Richmond, one of the harder tracks to pass at on the NASCAR schedule, and Ethan Lane might be about to demonstrate that as he got a little squirrely in a turn 3 there. That dirty air might be starting to affect him, but he is still cruising up to the bumper of that one car. Another pack down in a turn 1, but that time he slid up the track quite a bit. Didn't hurt him too much, though. He might still get a decent drive off. It's under 4/10 of a second as they go to turn 3. You can tell Ethan Lane right now throwing everything at this battle for the lead. He's been incredibly fast the past couple of laps, and he's trying to put that pace to good use. Right now, Ethan Lane's got a front windshield full of Brad Patton's bright pink bumper. The Depth Esports logo right in the face of Ethan Lane. Patton narrow off turn 4, Lane a little wider, the gap's down to under 3/10 of a second. Lane appears to be swinging back and forth between running faster and slower than Patton, but the driver who's found the most pace in this fight for the top one is Nick Tarabuck. And that could have been phrased a lot better on my part, I apologize, as Cody Smith gets passed by Justin Trombley. Again, Ethan Lane getting a lot closer to Patton, and right on that yellow line. He is really emphasizing his run into the corner. 56 underway. Sorry, actually, we're still on lap 55. As another drive into turn 1 by Ethan Lane nearly gets him to the bumper of Patton. Both of them falling back to Nick Tarabuck. Another send by Ethan Lane. Patton now moving his line to be a little bit more aggressive on corner entry to cover off that dive by Ethan Lane. Lane might need to start trying something else out to get the run down the back straightaway, but for now, he stays committed to the bottom. As he nearly gets to the bumper again of Brad Patton, he's able to park it through the center of the corner and get the drive off. Tarabuck running him down from 3rd. Down to turn 3 we go. Patton up the track, Lane sticks it on the bottom. Patton gets the drive off. They are separated by less than 2/10. How deep is Patton gonna defend into turn 1? How deep is Ethan gonna send it into turn 1? They're both about even on the brakes. I imagine both these drivers are scrubbing their front tires quite a bit right now as they pack it into turn 3. Another roll through the center by Ethan Lane. It's not helping his drive off. Probably not helping his tires too much either. Tarabuck runs fast to the top 3 once again. Lane all over the bumper of Brad Patton. Lane able to get the drive off turn 2. This time Ethan Lane goes higher into turn 3, looking to get the run down the front straightaway. Gonna pack it to the bottom off the corner, but cannot get the power down. Tarabuck runs fastest again. It's another send into turn 1 by Ethan. Patton up the track. Lane runs the bottom. Nose to tail as they come off turn number 2. Patton and Lane running nose to tail. Tarabuck running them both down, and the Mustang of Justin Trombley looking hungry in 3rd. Another dive off into turn 1 by Ethan Lane. Right on the bottom of the racetrack. Nearly got the bumper of Patton. And again, Nick Tarabuck is the fastest driver of this top three. He is running them both down from third. Ethan Lane up to the top of the track. That's new. But why not, you know? You know you got the pace to get back up there if it doesn't work out, so why not give it a shot? Let's see if he does it in 1 and 2. Yes, he does! Sailing it into the corner lane, nearly into the bumper of Patton. We'll see if he can get the drive off that he needs to get side by side with Patton by the time they get to turn 3. No, he cannot. But again, this is all helping Tarabuck get up there. Lane back to the bottom, lap 62 underway. Another dive to the bottom by Ethan Lane, trying to get to the inside of Patton. The door is open. Maybe a little bit of contact, nose to tail as they go down the back straightaway. Ethan Lane has found something. Brad Patton has lost his long run pace. They're both sideways off turn number 4. The rear tires screaming out on these stock cars. It's a dive to the bottom by Ethan Lane. He can't get it to stick. Maybe he will, though, off turn number 2. Bit of a side draft against the one car. Here comes Tarabuck from third. Down to turn 3. Ethan Lane side by side with Patton. He slips up. Patton going to get the drive back off the high side. Tarabuck's gaining from third. Side by side down the front straightaway. Advantage Patton. Another dive by Lane. Another alongside by Patton. We've got one car coming out of the pit lane. Can Patton hang on? Can Lane clear for the lead? He can. Up into the race lead goes the 26 machine. Nick Tarabuck now has caught Brad Patton from third. He moves to the inside of that number 1 machine. And off turn number 4, Lane has pulled out by 0.2 of a second. Here comes Nick Tarabuck down the inside of Brad Patton. He rolls the bottom, looking to do to him what Lane did to Patton a couple laps ago. They stay side by side off 2. Patton not able to get the drive off that he needs. And Nick Tarabuck looking to roll his way up in a third, but Patton still hanging strong on the high side. It's not helping the Tarabucks get in the apron. And here comes Trombley. We'll see if Trombley packs it to the high side. He stays in the middle for now. Patton comes off the corner low, nearly cutting off Nick Tarabuck, who gets sideways, and that'll let Trombley get to his outside. Tarabuck sends it at a 3. Patton to the middle. This might be Tarabuck clear for second if he can get back to the power. Yes, he can, but no, he can't get cleared. Another squeeze to the outside wall. He puts on Patton. Another roll through the center by Tarabuck. He's going to try and gas it up on exit. Jorge Canales on fresh tires. He is a lap down, as now Nick Tarabuck finally clear for third. Or second, rather. That fighting for second has gone ahead and given Ethan Lane about a 0.7 of a second lead, which is slowly increasing to a second. Side by side for third now as Brad Patton continues to fall back through the field. Lap car of that 52 of Jorge Canales might complicate things a little bit since he is on fresh tires. Trombley makes quick work of Patton, who fights back on the high side. Never mind on that quick work statement. He's not able to get it done just yet. Through 1 and 2, though, Justin Trombley inches ahead, and off turn 2 is clear of Patton, who nearly loops it coming off turn 2. So lap 69 underway. These drivers looking to get to lap 70. I'm assuming. Actually, no, that's not close to accurate. I apologize for saying that. I'm guessing they're trying to get to around maybe lap 90 to try and make it on one stop to the end. A couple of drivers have already come in, such as Kevin P. Matz, who is going to have quite the advantage on everyone who hasn't pitted yet because of this undercut. Oh, never mind. He's actually just being lapped. Take back what I said. This is not an undercut. This is just a lack of pace. I apologize. Ethan Lane is out front by 6.5 tenths, but Nick Tarabuck is slowly reeling him in. Actually, maybe Kevin Matz has pitted? Has he? No, he hasn't. The only driver so far that's pitted is that 52 of Jorge Canales, who is zooming through the field on those fresh tires, as Nick Tarabuck has the gap down in front to 0.4 of a second. He's gaining quite quickly on Ethan Lane, looking after his first win of the season. This could be the place to do it for Tarabuck. He tends to be quite good at the tracks where it can be quite difficult to pass. He said himself that he is one of the best drivers on concrete, and while this track is not made out of concrete, it is certainly hard to pass like a lot of them that are. As Jorge Canales not making quick work of that 4 machine despite his fresher tires. I'm assuming Ethan Lane is happy with that. I'm assuming Tarabuck is not, but Ethan Lane's tires appears to have faltered a little bit, because in all that fighting on the outside line, Tarabuck did not lose that much time to Ethan Lane. Now Canales gets up the inside lane. That'll put Lane out of position and might let Nick Tarabuck make a run at the lead here. 0.6 of a second separating him and Ethan. Lane up the track out of position. Gaps down to 0.5. Tarabuck rolls the bottom nicely. He continues his charge for the race lead, and he is doing a fantastic job of it right now. Nick Tarabuck, one of the drivers in this field that doesn't necessarily have the highest I rating. In fact, nearly half of what Ethan Lane is in the lead, but he is still one of the most consistently impressive drivers week in and week out. He is showing up a lot of these guys with I ratings that are about 1,000 or 2,000 higher than him. He is definitely one of the best drivers in this field, and it'll be exciting to see what he can do if he makes it to the championship round in Phoenix. He has the gap down for the lead at 0.3 of a second. This isn't going to help, though. There's a gaggle of lap cars coming out of turn number 2. A little bit of contact to the right side, or left side, sorry, of Alan Rowell. Luckily, it's not too heavy on Ethan Lane. That did give Ethan Lane a bit of an advantage out front, and that shouldn't hurt Tarabuck's car too much. He should be able to keep going. We're on lap 77. But certainly not ideal for the driver of the 4 car. And I imagine right now these tires are starting to feel like ice. He is slipping and sliding all over the place, him and Ethan Lane are. So the top 3 now separated by less than a second. Trombley looking good, but having his pace wear off a little bit on the long run. Nick Tarabuck definitely looking the fastest, but not able to make the inroads that he needs. And Ethan Lane is setting sail in front of the field. He's led most of this race and has some of the best long run pace in the field. It's just not quite enough to compete with that of Nick Tarabuck. Now Ethan Lane, though, finds himself parked up behind the back bumper of the 28 car of Lee Pierce as Trombley looks to get a run on Nick Tarabuck for a second as Tarabuck looks to get the run on Lane for the lead. These top 3 are slowly bunching up. And we are looking at a 3-way fight for the lead within a couple of laps here. Lane up the track. Here comes Tarabuck with a run off turn number 2. Got a little bit wide, though. Had to back out of the gas to avoid the outside wall, but he is still able to make ground up on Ethan Lane. That slow car of Pierce isn't helping as he stacks up Ethan Lane off turn number 4. Lane again looking to the bottom, but Tarabuck is closing in. Here comes Trombley, nearly into the bumper of Nick Tarabuck. They're both going to have to drive it to the bottom. Trombley beats Tarabuck to the punch. Here comes Justin Trombley for P2. Caution, we got trouble on the track. And it looks to be... I'm not sure what it is. It might be the conclusion of stage 2. I was never told what the stages are for this race. Oh, yeah, I'm stupid. Stages at the end of lap 40 and 80. So that caution was because we had not seen a caution before the end of stage 2. So stage 2 winner is going to be Ethan Lane. My apologies for not paying close enough attention to what's going on here. And that is going to mean that Todd Thomas did not get any stage points, so he will not be able to make up any ground on Kevin Matz just yet. Ethan Lane brings the field to pit road for the first cycle of pit stops, but it was a dominant performance by Ethan Lane that keeps him out front throughout the majority of stages 1 and 2 after he got the lead from Brad Patton. And this will set us up for a restart just around halfway through this race. So down pit road comes the field. We'll see which one of them can get out first. It's 4 tires and fuel for a majority of these drivers. Right side's going up for Ethan Lane. Left side's up now. No one risking it on 2. Trombley's out, Tarabuck's out, Ethan Lane is out, and it's going to be Lane, Tarabuck, Patton, and then Trombley coming out as your top 4. We're going to step away for just a moment, but don't go anywhere because racing returns and broadcasting returns from the Richmond Raceway. Right after this, we will be right back. We're back live from the Richmond Raceway, where our first caution of the night is out for the conclusion of Stage 2. We had not seen a caution before then, so that was the competition yellow to bunch up the field and make the racing just a little bit more exciting. It's Ethan Lane still leading away. He has dominated a majority of this race. He has had some competition, though, from that number 1 car, Brad Patton. He took the lead around halfway through stage number 1. Unfortunately, his long run pace not enough to keep up with the front runners. Speaking of long run pace, one of the best drivers in the field for that has been that 4 machine right there of Nick Tarabuck. He has been one of the fastest on the short runs and the long runs, so look for him in this second stage. But the other driver that we need to look out for, Justin Trombley. He won quite a few races early on in the season, took a bit of a hiatus from the league, and has come back today to show the field that he's still got what it takes to win these races. He's going to line up in 4th, I believe, on this restart. Watch out for that black number 34 to make an imprint on the conclusion of this race. As you see the pacing field rounding turns 3 and 4. Now down the front straightaway, that's Ethan Lane in the race lead. And there's Justin Trombley in P4. Lights around on the pace car. We're going to go back green this time by as there's Todd Thomas exiting the pits. Thomas, one of the drivers who needs to fight his way into the playoffs if he wants to have a chance at the championship. Thomas came into this race 7 points below the cut line, has not made up any ground just yet, but is outrunning his rival, which would be Kevin Matz. So Ethan Lane going to lead the field back to green over Tarabuck, Patton, and Trombley. Trombley losing 1 spot on pit road, Patton gaining 1. Lap 85. We are halfway through, but the lights are back on the pace car, and we need another lap of caution to let everyone get caught up. The other drivers in some jeopardy with the playoffs. Michael Dewell, 21 points to the good. Not enough to lose it in just this race alone. He's had a solid run so far, running 13th. Not terrible for the driver in the number 88. Alan Rowell comes into this race 15 points out, and unfortunately is not making enough of an impact in this race so far to fight his way into the playoffs off of this race alone. The only driver up here that has not won a race so far is Nick Tarabuck. Lane, Trombley, Patton have all won a race. Cody Smith has not either. So 2 out of the top 5 have not won yet. As the pace car going to go in this time by. Just over halfway through this race, we're going to go back green. Restarts on the leader. Pace car is in. We're back underway from Richmond. And it's a great jump by Ethan Lane, who gaps Nick Tarabuck by almost 0.3 of a second by the time they get to turn number 1. Now Patton slips underneath the 4 car to try and take away that second spot, but Tarabuck fights back on the high side. Down to turn 3, Brad Patton moving on the inside, trying to take away that spot. Gets back to the bottom well, and that's going to promote Patton up to second, but he gets a little loose down the start-finish straight. Lap 89 underway, and Patton looking to clear Tarabuck for second. But that fight is continuing on to turn 3. Down the back straightaway they go. Patton, I think if he can clear Tarabuck, might have something for the leader. We've seen his short run pace be quite incredible. This fight for second rages on. There's a bit of a gaggle going on in the back as well. 3 wide down to turn number 1. But Fife not committing to the inside enough to make that move work. As now Daffin gets himself up into 5th. Cody Smith gets the run on the high side to clear Jacob. Fife, not quite. Fife packs his nose back in on the inside, and almost clears him coming off turn number 4. Now Fife to the bottom on Daffin, and he's going to get a run all the way down the front straightaway and down to turn number 1, but we got a caution and trouble somewhere on the track. I'm not sure what it is. I believe it might be Lee Pierce who's in the pit lane. We'll have to get you all an update on that, and it looks like it might be Travis Skimmerda. A bit of damage to the right side. Let's see what happened. And coming off turn number 4. Oh! Got tagged by the 83 of Guillermo Alvarez, and that spun him around the front straightaway. Caution is out. I can understand why. Lots of smoke and a slow car on track. Definitely call for concern. I'll bring out the first incident caused yellow of the night and rack up the field once again. Ethan Lane able to hold on in the restart. This will give the field another shot at the lead here. Working lap 94 now. Under caution for the second time tonight. It is Ethan Lane in control. So, looking down the rest of the field, let's do a little mini through the field here. It's Ethan Lane leading away in front. Car looks great for him. He's out front of the field. He's been the best driver all night. Definitely a solid pick to win. Nick Terlebuck is yet to win a race this season, but is looking solid in P2. He's had some of the best long-run pace in the field, but if we don't get any long runs to the end, that could spell trouble for the driver of the number 4. Brad Patton, one of the best drivers on the short runs, one of the more aggressive drivers in this field. That Sector 6 and Depth Esports machine has been running strong all night, but he hasn't let a lap since around the midpoint of Stage 2, so Patton looking to get back to the front. Justin Trombley won a couple of races earlier on in the season. In fact, I believe he won 2 at Homestead and Phoenix. Took a bit of a hiatus. He is back today, and that black number 34 Ford Mustang is looking to put himself back in victory lane. Alec Daffin won last week at Daytona, yet to win a race since then, because we haven't had a race since then, but hadn't won a race before. That number 48 car is looking strong tonight, though. A solid 5th place run so far for Alec Daffin. Jacob Fife, he has not seen victory lane since the second Atlanta race of the season. Not the best driver on pace tonight. However, if things go his way, we could see that Pro Powder and Paint number 36 machine in victory lane. Cody Smith, the other driver yet to win a race this season, incredibly consistent, second highest driver in points without a win. He's done a great job so far tonight to keep that number 18 inside the top 10. Tom Wetmore, P8 on track. That Tube Tech machine has gone to victory lane a couple of times this season at New Hampshire, Dover, and Martinsville. Some of the harder tracks to pass on. Tom Wetmore looking solid for a top 10 tonight, but not exactly the pace I expected to see out of that 51 machine after some solid short track runs earlier on in the season. Blake Giglio in his first start is running P9 solidly inside the top 10. A solid run for the number 25 machine. Bit of an unknown in this race, but still running very well so far. And Jay Heischman, bit of an underdog in the series. We haven't seen him come close to victory lane since Talladega, when him and Ethan Lane had a duel to the start-finish lane. But due to a bit of a controversy in the finish of that race, no one ended up winning it. That's your top 10. We're going to go back green, I believe, next time by. That would feel about the length of one caution. That's your top 10. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chat. I don't know if you guys are saying anything. I'm running out of things to talk about a little bit. Yes, Zach, we are live. Lights are out on the pace car. We can go back green this time by. We'll see if anyone gets dares to be a little ambitious on the restart. Maybe send it to the high side. Try a thing or two in those grip lanes up top. They can work especially well in 1 and 2, but also work especially well in the Cup car, which we are not in tonight. 96 of 170 underway. Pace car is in. Start is on the leader. Green flag. And another bad restart by Nick Terlebuck in second. This time he'll get gapped by nearly 0.4 of a second as we dive down to turn number 1. Patton on the inside gonna have a great opportunity here to take away second from Terlebuck. He's gonna do just that, but Terlebuck on his right rear fights back off turn number 2. side by side as they make their way down to turn number 3. Tarabuck on the high side, looking to pinch Patton down to the bottom, but Patton fights back, squeezes him off the corner. Tarabuck gets enough of a run to get clear. Trombley now stacked up in front of Alec Daffin down to turn number 1. Daffin falls back a little bit. Now Cody Smith on the inside of Daffin as Daffin gets to the outside of Trombley. Trombley able to clear down the back straightaway. This is a big gaggle of cars going to turn 3. Daffin up the track, gonna dive it back to the bottom. Here comes Jacob Fife looking for the middle. Not gonna make it work. Another dive into turn 1 by Cody Smith alongside Alec Daffin. Smith up the track, drives it down the bottom. This gaggle of cars is the main battle on track as Ethan Lane is gapping Nick Tarabuck into turn 3. Oh, contact! Cody Smith up the track, gets into the 48 of Daffin, and that'll let the 36 of Jacob Fife get a run down the front straightaway. Now Fife looks to the bottom. Daffin looks to cover him off. Nearly contact to the left rear. Oh, trouble! Justin Trombley gets out of the back of Patton down the back straightaway, and the caution is out. Patton goes around, and that is going to take him out of contention for the win as he locked up all 4 wheels and went for a slide down the back straightaway. Third caution of the night, second for an incident, is out. We'll take a look at a replay, and it looks like it might have just been the slightest tap by Justin Trombley. We'll have to let it go a little bit forward here. But let's see. Actually, no, Patton got loose. Actually got loose on his own. He did a good job correcting it though. Kept it out of the inside wall. A good save by Patton. He kept it going. Still though, not ideal for the number 1 machine as he takes himself out of contention. My apologies for assuming it was the 34 car Trombley. I just saw him behind and I saw Patton going around and I figured it was him. So my mistake on that. Trombley never even made contact with him. So we are under caution here for the 3rd time tonight. I'm very bad at talking under caution, so how was everyone's day in the chat? How y'all doing today? Ethan Lane has put that high-performance motorsports machine in victory lane quite a few times this season. He is the winningest driver, tied with Caitlin Height with 4 wins on the season. And Lane has done a great job controlling this field, looking like the championship favorite. Nick Tarabuck, though, might be a bit of an underdog pick for the championship, given that he can survive elimination and make his way to the round of 4. It's definitely possible for Nick Tarabuck to get himself a title. Might not be through a win, but he's definitely been one of the most consistent drivers on the season, and I would love to see him have a little bit more success here. Well, okay, that sounds a little bit mean. He's been extremely consistent. He's done a great job this season, but I think it'd be awesome to see that number 4 machine in victory lane, if nothing else because it's a great paint scheme. I don't know if there's a way that I can find what the point standings are without the chase. I'll pull it up here. I don't know if this link is gonna have what I'm looking for. Oh, yeah, it is. Nick Tarabuck is actually sitting 3rd in points, 37 back of natural points leader Jacob Fife. Ethan Lane, I should point out, by the way, with 2 less starts than Fife and Lane. Ethan Lane, by the way, with 2 less starts than Jacob Fife, is 13 points away from the points lead. So, Ethan Lane's been pretty dominant. There's no way around it. Lights are off on the pace car, and hey, here's something new. Ethan Lane is taking the high side for this restart, so we're going to see something a little different now as these drivers make the dash down to turn number 1. Pace car is in, and Ethan Lane is gone already!
Green flag, green flag.
Ironically enough, with that early jump, Tarabuck actually got a better restart than he had the last 2 times, and isn't going to have to fight anyone down to turn 1, but maybe not. Look at Daffin sailing it in on the high side. What a run by Daffin. He is digging on that outside line. Love the confidence out of that number 48 car. And Alec Daffin with a huge drive off turn number 4 is going to clear his way up in a second. Beautiful stuff by the driver of the number 48. Alec Daffin might be able to go all out here down the pack straightaway. Jacob Fife blocking Wetmore down to the apron. Wetmore committing to that inside line, drifts up the track, nearly gets into Fife. Everyone's scrambling on the restart. Now Fife looks down the inside of Travis Scramita. Fife going to be on the inside, side by side with the 35, and through 1 and 2, going to roll the center and pull his way up into 6th. In fact, he's going to try and go even further as he rolls up to the bumper of the 25. Now Wetmore looking to fight back on 5. Everyone is going for every spot they can on this restart. Fife down the inside of Giglio now. He's going to try and muscle his way up in a 5th, and he's going to do just that. Jacob Fife has found something in that number 36 machine because he is on a move. Whoa, contact in the middle of 3 and 4. Fife into the right, into the left front of Giglio. Pushes him up the track, and that'll let Wetmore clear into 6th. 60 to go here at Richmond, and everyone is racing like it's the last lap. Now Jacob Fife not wasting any time as he goes down the inside of Justin Trombley. Jacob Fife is on a tear. He is flying through this field. And I just realized a lot of these drivers actually came down pit road for fresher tires. Jacob Fife's tires are 20 laps fresher than the field's. That would explain his pace quite a bit. He is making quick work of everyone and moving to the front. Jacob Fife rolling the bottom again. He's rolled up on the bumper of Nick Tarabuck, and we know that those tires are going to do a lot for him. 20 laps makes quite the difference here at Richmond as he rolls down the inside of Tarabuck. And I apologize. I have not done my job very well because I did not even realize that a lot of these drivers had pitted for tires. And you can see Fife, he's moving over the left-hand side. By the time they get to turn 1, it'll be Fife moving on the inside of Nick Tarabuck. Down the inside, he's got 3rd. He's looking for more. Now Tarabuck on the inside of, on the outside of Tom Wetmore as Wetmore looks to go to the inside of Tarabuck down into turn number 1. Wetmore is doing a great job following Fife through the field. Looks like Wetmore has found something in that number 51 machine. The tires are definitely helping him as Cody Smith and Justin Trombley nearly come to blows off turn number 2, but those tires are definitely helping that 51 car, but he is definitely rolling a lot better than he was earlier on in the race as Wetmore clears up into 4th. Daffin clears up into 3rd. Jacob Fife is into 2nd, and now he has his sights set on the race leader, Ethan Lane. So he's got 1 second to reel in on Ethan Lane and a long way to go in this race, but these drivers can all make it to the end on fuel. So if this race goes green, like I have a feeling it might, Jacob Fife is going to be in prime position to win. Tom Wetmore now rolling down the inside of Alec Daffin. They're side by side off turn number 2, but Wetmore going to have the superior rear grip, and I think by the time they get to turn 3, yes indeed, Tom Wetmore is up in a 3rd. So a bit of a shakeup in the running order, and it's put Jacob Fife in a position where he might be able to win this race. And I, for one, am here for it. I love the strategy gamble he took to get himself on fresh tires. He's got a second to go to get Ethan Lane. but he's got just about 20 lap fresher tires to try and do it. And if it doesn't help him now, it's certainly going to help him on the long run as Nick Tarabuck looks to get to the back bumper of Alec Daffin. Tarabuck, though, on those older tires is going to have Cody Smith all over him by the time they get to 1 and 2. Todd Thomas now going down the inside of Blake Giglio. Thomas is one of the drivers on fresher tires, and I love this call out of the 78 machine. He knows that he needs to do what he can to try and race his way into the playoffs, and this is giving him a beautiful buffer over Kevin Matz, who did not fit fresher tires under the last stop. I do think that fresh tire call is going to be the way to go, as Todd Thomas has moved himself up into 10th, trying to run down Brad Patton. Great call by Todd Thomas to try and give himself some extra pace here in the last bit of this race. Meanwhile, for the lead, the gap has come down to around 0.8 of a second. Now we're starting to see more of the fresh tire cars cycle to the front. One of those fresh tire cars is not Justin Trombley. As we see Nick Tarabuck go to the inside of Alec Daffin down to turn 1. Tarabuck makes his move. He's got his man down the inside. He is up into 4th. But Justin Trombley, one of the drivers who did not take tires under that last caution, and I do think that's going to hurt him quite a bit, as I don't know what's going on here at the lead, but Jacob Fife took about a 10th out of Ethan Lane's lead in 1 corner. Well, 2 corners, but I don't know. I've been watching F1 lately. I've kind of just been calling them 1 corners. This gaggle of cars, by the way, for 3rd is massive. Nick Tarabuck side by side with Cody Smith. Smith on the fresh tires as they go down to turn number 3. Smith on the inside runs Tarabuck up the track a little bit. Now Daffin on the outside of Trombley. Both these drivers on old tires compared to Patton on the new ones. Patton down the inside gets his way around around Alec Daffin. Trombley gets himself up to the bumper of Nick Tarabuck. Looks to the inside into 3, but is not close enough to make the dive, as here comes Brad Patton up to 7th. Patton did take tires. Look at Patton rolling back to the gas, trying to get to the bumper of Trombley as Jacob Fife is inching closer to the race lead. It's 0.4 of a second now, and Ethan Lane might just be a bit of a sitting duck when he gets caught. The thing is, though, I do believe that Jacob Fife has only pitted twice in this race. They have 3 sets of tires in the pit lane, so that means that if another caution were to come out between now and the end of the race, they could take tires again. So it's really only gonna hurt him if we get another long run before the end of the race and a late race yellow, because they're not gonna need to pit for fuel again, and if they do, the only drivers that'll have to are the ones that didn't pit. So I like this call to get tires. I think it's definitely gonna pay off. As Cody Smith on the fresh rubber has found his way up into 4th. Tarabuck still sitting in 5th, holding off Trombley, but keep in mind neither of those drivers are on fresh tires. Brad Patton is here as well. He is on fresh tires. That has a little bit of right side damage. Not sure how much that's affecting that bright pink number 1 machine. Trombley now rolls his way to the inside of Tarabuck, but can't get the move done off turn number 2. Can't set it up off turn number 2. As Ethan Lane continues to lose time to Jacob Fife, who appears to be making most of his time up in 3 and 4. We'll turn our attention to the battle for the lead now, as the gap in the front is under 3 seconds. We talk about Jacob Fife, the regular season points leader, looking poised to be the regular season champion. Only won 1 race this season, but this is looking like a prime opportunity for him to get to. Fife sails in on the high side into 1 and 2, looks up the track and a drive it off on exit. Let's see if he can get him this time into 3. Gap's coming down quickly for Jacob Fife. Rolling the center of the corner nicely, gets back to the power nice and smooth, looks to the inside down the front straightaway. Lane holds steady on the high side. Fife doesn't make the move in a 1, but it does spook Lane up the track a little bit. Fife rolls to the bottom, he's alongside now. Lane gonna hold on. This is for the lead on lap 130 of 170. It's still Ethan Lane in control. I don't think Fife wants to burn his stuff up trying to get around him, but he's got to try and do it quickly before the tires level off too much. Fife still looking up the inside, not making the move yet. Now he looks to the outside. It'll be a nice swing through the corner for Fife. He's gonna roll the center nicely. Gets back to the back to the gas off 2. Looks to the inside. Doesn't make it this time by. Sliding into turn 3 is that 26 of Ethan Lane. Covers off the bottom out of 4. A little bit of contact between the top 2. Now here comes Fife to the bottom. And I do think this is going to be it for race leader Ethan Lane. He's going to give him the squeeze through 1 and 2. Fife goes down the inside. He rolls the middle. Little bit of contact as they come off turn number 2. Ethan Lane is actually holding on for now. So Ethan Lane getting his elbows out. Not afraid to get a little bit of contact in him. But I like it. I like the style of racing. It's what you got to do to keep the lead, especially when you got a pace disadvantage. Jacob Fife, though, just so much better. It's obvious to me that he just doesn't want to use his stuff up trying to get around the race leader. But this is going to let Tom Wetmore close in on both of them. Fife now to the middle. The thing is, Fife's greatest ally right now is track position. So if he were to get the lead and the caution comes out, he would have the advantage of being in the race lead on the restart on the same tires. Because on pace alone, Ethan Lane is the fastest driver in this field. So Jacob Fife, not being on fresher tires than Ethan Lane, is going to hurt him if he can't get the race lead. So he's got to do this quickly. Once again, he rolls through 3 and 4 nicely, but the tires appear to have leveled out a little bit more. 2.5 tenths now between your race leaders. Another dive into turn 1 by Fife. Another conservative entry by Ethan Lane. Lane starting to pull away. And now it's about the time when Jacob Fife is going to start to get a little bit frustrated because he knows that he has the pace to get the lead, but I think that he just knows that he might not have... Well, he knows that he has the tires to get the race lead, but I just think he might be starting to realize that he might not have the pace to do it now. That's all guessing from up here in the commentary box. Jacob Fife might be saving his stuff, trying to cool his tires down a little bit, but it's looking like Ethan Lane is the faster of the pair right now as Kent Wetherell is slow off turn number 2. Wetherell up the track stays out of the way of Ethan Lane, but still going to be in his way a little bit off turn number 4. He's in Fife's way more so, though. 2 tenths between the top 2. Down to turn number 1, the backfire shooting out of the right-hand exhaust pipes of those top 2, giving us a great photo opportunities for all the fans in the stands right now. But I think a better photo opportunity would be if Jacob Fife can get to the inside of Ethan Lane, which he was able to do once, but wasn't able to complete the pass. These top 2 have been going at it for a while now as Lane gets a little sideways off turn number 4. But Jacob Fife is hounding him for the race lead. He's not letting the pressure up. Lap 139 underway. The laps are winding down here. And it looks like it's going to be between these two for the win, unless Tom Wetmore can say anything about it, as Cody Smith gives it a slide off turn number 2. Another roll through 1 and 2 for Jacob Fife as he continues to try and run down Ethan Lane in the lead. Does look like he's a little better in 3 and 4, though. That seems to be a strong suit right now. 3 and 4, the more intermediate style corner. 1 and 2, very much short track-esque. And I think that's why the tires are paying off more in 3 and 4 than they are in 1 and 2. But Fife rolls up again on the bumper of Lane, and now he's got to run. This could be a good opportunity for Fife, but he stays in line for now. Not willing to use the bumper just yet, it doesn't look like, but a little bit of contact to the left rear. Might have spoken too soon as they're side by side nearly off turn number 4. Ethan Lane, though, holding on to the high side. Jacob Fife just not letting the pressure up. Ethan Lane not letting the pressure get to him. Fife's got to be holding back right now, though, because I imagine he's got way more pace than that number 36 machine. He just has to be careful right here not to burn his tires up, and that's what he's been doing. He's done a very good job of it so far. Keep in mind that as much pressure as Ethan Lane is under, Jacob Fife is under as well to get around him. As off turn number 2, Fife's going to have a run. The rear grip is paying off right now. He looks to the inside, can't get it done. Lap 143 underway. We're inching closer to the end of the race. The tires are starting to level out. But Jacob Fife has better pace now than he did a while ago. Back to turn 1. You can tell Ethan Lane's starting to struggle a little bit. Fife to the bumper. He's going to have him soon. It's only a matter of time, but he just can't get the run he needs off 2. Nose to tail for the lead. It's been this way for about 5 laps now. Lap 145 underway. Again, Fife shows the nose. Lane goes to cover him off. Fife commits to the inside. He backs out of it. It's very close to the race lead right now. This is giving me heavy Dover vibes. If you think back to that race when it was between Tom Wetmore and Nick Terrebuck for the win, they were nose to tail for about 20 laps straight. Neither of them able to pass. We got 25 laps to go, and neither driver has been inching ahead. "24 laps remaining here at Richmond, and Jacob Fife is on 20 lap fresher tires than Ethan Lane, but he's not able to get around him, as we might have trouble here. Kevin Matz has entered the pit lane. Is this it for the driver of the number 50 car? It'd be disastrous for his playoffs, but he might think there's nothing left to fight for. Or is this just Kevin Matz trying to pull a strategy call? 23 to go. I don't believe they have to pit again. He begins the slow roll down pit lane. Is this a scheduled stop for the 50, or is this a retirement? He's into his box. Might be a scheduled stop. Gap between the top 2, by the way, is extending again. So Ethan Lane might have been able to hold on the onslaught from Jacob Fife and held the lead. It'd be very impressive if he could do so. Fife, though, rolling back to the bumper. He's got 2 tenths. 21 to go, though. Time's running out for Fife. I think he just knows that he can't be too opportunistic and that he's really got to set up this pass. Setting up to be a great finish here. The Integrity Racing League tends to be known for those great finishes. We've seen a lot of them throughout the season. We might be setting up for one today. $19 to go. No, still 20. The ticker just moves a lot faster than I anticipated. Another roll through the center of the corner for Jacob Fife. Lane is slow on exit. I'm just worried. I don't think Jacob Fife has the advantage he needs anymore to try and get the lead. As Justin Trombley, on the older tires in the field, has made his way around Tom Wetmore for third. This is incredible. He's on 20 lap older tires than Wetmore and has better long run pace than him. This is great stuff out of the number 34 camp. If he can be fast enough throughout this last half of the race, he might have a thing for the leader here. We'll have to see. 18 to go with the line. Lane holding on for now. Fife not letting him go, and it's setting up to be a great finish. Justin Trombley does appear to be the fastest driver out of the top 3 despite his tire disadvantage, and that is not something I expected to say, but that just goes to show the incredible talent that that number 34 driver has got. He has been one of the best drivers this season when he showed up. He's back from his hiatus. He is back to make an impression. He is the fastest out of the top 3, and if Jacob Fife can't get this move done quickly, we might be looking at Justin Trombley winning this race despite the older tires. Wouldn't that be incredible? $16 to go. Fife might not have anything for the leader. And Justin Trombley by a 1/10 of a second faster last time by than even Ethan Lane. Justin Trombley, if he is able to go fast enough, could win this race. That time was nearly 2/10. If he can keep the pace up, he has the time. 2/10 of a second between the leaders, and Trombley is closing. I'm not sure how he's doing it. I don't think anyone knows how he's doing it. .4 seconds. He is flying right now. No way. Trombley's catching Fife at least. But now Fife is getting back to the bumper of Ethan Lane. I think he feels the pressure coming from behind, and if these top two get to fighting, it could be all but one for Trombley. The gap to Fife is under a second for Justin. How is he doing this? I'm not going to question it. All I know is that if he is able to get this done, it's going to be one of the most impressive drives I've ever seen at Richmond. 13 to go. It's Fife and Ethan Lane for the lead, with Trombley closing in from third. Another roll through the center for Fife. He's got to get quickly. He's got to get around Ethan Lane quickly. He can't waste any more time. Bumper or no bumper, he's got to do it now. And I can confirm, Trombley's pace is on track to take away the lead by the end of the race, but he has to make quick work of Jacob Fife. And if Fife could get around Ethan Lane, that would be perfect, because I think he has enough pace to pull out in front of the field. But if he can't get around Lane, then he's going to have Trombley on him in about a couple of laps here. And that is going to be disastrous for his chances to win. And I think it might get to the point where it might even be better for him to let Trombley go and hope they wreck each other. Jacob Fife has not been fast enough to get around Ethan Lane, and it's hurt him. The gap between him and Trombley is now 0.6 of a second, despite the older tires. 23.7 last time by for Trombley to Ethan Lane's 23.9. He has more than enough pace to do it. Now Ethan Lane gets the run off turn number 2. Sorry, Jacob Fife gets the run off turn number 2, but he isn't able to get to the inside. That's why I think he's got to use the bumper. Another drive into turn 1 for Ethan Lane. Another gain by Justin Trombley. 0.6, 9 to go. He's lapping almost 0.2 of a second faster. I don't know if Trombley is going to be able to make quick enough work of Fife to get the race win. But regardless of what happens, it has been an incredible drive for the number 34. 8 laps to go. 0.2 between the leaders. Trombley has already caught Jacob Fife. He gets to the inside, he turns him. Jacob Fife is around in front of the field. He gets into Trombley, and Trombley's in the wall. And that is not what I expected at all. Jacob Fife damaged and slow on the apron. Justin Trombley out of this race, and Ethan Lane keeps the lead. Tom Wetmore is in second. What on earth just happened? I have never in a million years would have expected that. Going down the back straightaway, Fife moves into the inside to defend Trombley. Trombley switches back to the right. Going into turn 3, Fife leaves a lane at the bottom. It closes quickly. Trombley has too much speed into the corner. He gets into his left rear. He turns him. Fife goes up the track. Trombley has it saved. He drives back down the track and slams the 34 right into the outside wall. Fair play for Fife. I mean, he had the right to defend, and Trombley went in there and turned him. But that is not what I would have expected. And now it's time to see what the call is on pit road. Ethan Lane out first, Wetmore out second. No one risking it on 2. But wow, that is not what I thought would happen. Okay. We're going to have a restart with like 3 laps to go. This race has just been turned on its head and might just be won for Ethan Lane, unless that third place car of Cody Smith can get a good jump and be on his bumper in a turn 1. These drivers are going to have very limited opportunities to take away the win. Before we do that, though, I want to go and pull Jacob Fife up into the booth for just a moment, get his perspective on what happened. Jacob Fife, Jonathan Oates, TMG broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, we saw it on the broadcast. You were going into turn 3. You made a move to defend your spot. You slipped up the track a little bit, and then you got turned. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to work over Ethan there pretty good. Trying to do it cleanly, but it's real hard to pass. But we've been having a nice battle. Justin's obviously faster. He caught us, but we're at the point now you got to battle. So got a little loose off of 2, I think it was there, and then, like I said, try to defend a little bit. I went up some in the corner, but not enough. Not a car width enough, anyway. I thought he didn't have room to get there, and we just got turned, I think. I have to look at the replay to confirm, but that just seems was like to me. So it's is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be on your side with that one, but one thing I do have to ask, you had the 20-lap fresher tires over Ethan Lane. You were riding behind him for a bit. Did the thought of using the bumper ever come to mind, or do you think that there was something you might have been able to do to try and set up that pass?
I mean, I did a lot to try to set it up. I gave him a bumper a couple times, and we got alongside once and kind of doored a little bit. So it's just when you get side by side like that, if you get or you have somebody on the outside of you, it's really hard to get that grip to get off the corner. So that definitely plays into it. But yeah, I mean, Ethan does what he has to do in order to hold his position with the older tires, and that's just where it is. So it was a good race. I enjoyed racing with him. Just hate that it ends for us in a bad way.
And I want to ask real quick before we go back green here, do you think anyone on this restart is going to have anything for Ethan Lane?
Probably not. Justin would have been the other one to do it. So probably not.
All right, well, we appreciate your time, and we'll go and send you back.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
And that was Jacob Fife, got wrecked out. We're coming to the restart. Lane and Wetmore are banging on each other. Wetmore's trying to game it. We're back green. Wetmore alongside. It's a great start for the 51 car, who draws even as they go to turn 1. Wetmore going to be right alongside as they pack it down into the corner. He's hanging strong for now, but that's way up the track for the 51. Lane is clear off 2. Wetmore's going to need other caution if he's going to have a shot at it. Down to turn 3. I think this is it for the field. White flag in the win this time by 1 lap to go. And it's Ethan Lane out front looking for win number 5 on the season. They are side by side behind for second. Wetmore and Smith side by side down into turn 1. Smith up the track a little bit. Not by much, though. That'll give Wetmore the run off. Smith is sideways. Now Terrebuck to the outside of Smith. Looking 3 wide as they go to 3. Smith down the inside. Slides a little bit. Wetmore gets the run off turn number 4. And coming to the line for 3rd, it'll be Cody Smith to hang on. And Ethan Lane takes the win for the 5th time this season at Richmond. No surprise there, he was the dominant driver all night. The second best car got wrecked out. Tom Wetmore gave it us all in the restart and went a little too wide. And Patton gives Lane a bit of a door bang there. But a good win for Ethan Lane. Takes home his 5th on the season. He is racking up the playoff points as we get closer to those playoffs starting in 2 weeks' time at Las Vegas. We got one more race, Elimination Day in Bristol next Monday. But until then, it'll be Ethan Lane, the defending winner. 5 wins on the season. An inhuman amount, really. He has been incredibly fast, and he gets to celebrate with burnouts here on the front straightaway. Ethan Lane, your Richmond winner. And a well-deserved victory for the number 26 car. Easily the best car all day. Only driver that might have had anything for him was Justin Trombley. He got wrecked out. Let's talk to your winner. Ethan, it's Jonathan Oates on the TMG broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
Ethan, it's win number 5 on the season. It looked in doubt for a bit there as Jacob Fife got to your bumper on those 20-lap fresher tires. But in the end, you were the fastest car all race. Did you ever think that anyone had anything for you?
Justin definitely had something for me. He was probably the fastest over a long run after about 50 laps. But I knew that last run, before that final caution, we had to just push and push and push. And we actually had better tire wear when we pushed. Somehow came away with the win.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this season. You've been easily the most dominant driver. 5 wins already. You're racking up the playoff points as we get closer to the playoffs. What has been the thing that you've been able to do that you think no one else is getting in this league that's been making you just so dominant, especially over these past couple of weeks?
It's these old worn out racetracks that have little grip. I love these racetracks. They suit my style of driving. Where you have to slide the car a little bit just to be fast.
Yeah, definitely. You were able to come home with a 5th win tonight. You controlled the race pretty much the entire time, but you did have a little bit of competition there from Brad Patton and Justin Trombley. I mean, what was it like trying to race around these guys? I mean, Richmond has always been one of the harder tracks to pass at, but you were able to do it a couple of times tonight. What were some of the keys to setting up those passes, and just how hard was it to do?
It was very difficult to pass. Like, I knew I was faster than Brad after like 30 laps, but I would get within half a second and aero push would just come into play to where I couldn't get him. And like we finally were able to like get to him and get under him and pass him. It was mainly just getting the drive off. With that drive off, you're just able to carry the momentum down the straight and through the corner.
And lastly, Ethan, you and that number 26 High Performance Motorsports machine has gone to victory lane 5 times this season. Anyone that you would like to thank for win number 5?
Like to thank HPM. We actually today we have some news coming out here soon, so y'all be able to see that on Twitter. Thanks for Don for putting this league on. Really love this car, and for you putting on these broadcasts every week.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for it on Twitter. Ethan, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your 5th win. That is far too many. Win on the season. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
And that was Ethan Lane. Win number 5. I cannot get over that. That is an obscene amount of victories. All at very different types of tracks, too. He's won on short tracks, intermediates. He has done the most this season. It's been incredible to watch Ethan Lane do it. Win number 5, that's Ethan Lane. Let's go ahead and bring up your 2nd place finisher, Tom Wetmore, who gave it his all. Tom, Jonathan Oates, TMG broadcast booth. You gave it your all on that last restart, man. You tried to game it. You gave Ethan Lane a little bit of a door bang, and you went into turn 1, and the car didn't exactly stick. Talk us through those last 2 laps.
That was a little bit of champagne taste on a beer budget there. We had about a 10th, 11th place car all night, and well, we had warm tire brake bias dialed into a cold tire car, and you saw what happened going into 1 there. So sent her a little bit too hard, and still took a car that wasn't performing tonight and put the TubeTech Toyota in a podium position. So I'll take that.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, we've seen pretty much all season that when it comes to outright pace, I mean, you're certainly fast, but Ethan Lane and those guys have always been able to kind of get a little bit of the better on you, but in the end, you've been able to fight for a lot of wins. You come away with 3 on the season. What is it about you in these kind of opportunistic races that see you in really good positions? What do you think it's been that's been able to get you in so many spots like that?
Jonathan, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, man. And like you mentioned, I mean, we've had 3 wins this season, and it's being in the right place at the right time and being able to take advantage of an opportunity. And I think all my wins this season have come with either some sort of pit strategy, fuel strategy, or being right there at the end when it mattered, like New Hampshire. And tonight was no different. Starting on the outside on cold tires, I knew it was going to be challenging against one of the fastest cars all night, but I knew there was only one opportunity, and what are you going to do, not go for a win and not go for 5 playoff points? You have to give it a shot.
Exactly, and we talk about going for a win. I mean, we've seen a lot of times this season your driving style, one of the more aggressive in the field. You don't mind getting your elbows out, and it's really fun to watch. But is that something that you do consciously? Is that something that you decide to do, or is it just kind of how you've always been racing?
Jonathan, it's because of the competition here at Integrity, and what I mean by that is, I've mentioned it here on these interviews before, but we have some of the cleanest drivers around. I mean, you saw us run for, 80 green flag laps to where we ran where we had to throw a competition caution. I mean, to do that at a short track is just, it talks to the quality of the drivers here in this league and why more people should come and join said league. And it, as a result of that, like, hey, if you can push it 3 wide, you have the confidence knowing that, hey, you're going to be able to get a little bit of room if you have the position. And if you don't, well, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. And, there was a couple times tonight pushing it a little bit 3 wide or giving, a little bit less room, trying to maintain position on the outside. And I tell you, the drivers here at Integrity Racing League are second to none.
Yeah, and lastly, Tom, after this race, we set our sights to Bristol. It's next Monday. It's the elimination race before the playoffs. Obviously, with your 3 wins, you don't have to worry about that at all. But definitely would be nice to get another win there, and definitely a track that could benefit that kind of elbows-out driving style that we've seen out of you in the past couple of weeks. What are your expectations for that race and the playoffs in general?
Well, I was fortunate enough to win at Martinsville concrete short track. Fortunate enough to win at Dover, concrete short track. And the last race I won before that was Bristol in the fall race, concrete short track. So hoping that the gods favor me a little bit and we could put this Tube Tech and Garage Moon Power Toyota Supra back in victory lane again. Because at the end of the day, second is an awesome finish, but man, second sucks.
Yeah, and I might need to have a bit of a disagreement with you on the fact that you called Dover a short track, but we can talk about it more after the race. Tom, congratulations on your second place finish. Great run out there for you tonight. We're going to go and send you back.
Thanks, Jonathan. Have a great night.
You too, man. And that was Tom Wetmore, second place finisher here tonight at Richmond. 3 wins so far in the season, not able to make it number 4 tonight, but still a very solid finish for the driver, the number 51. Next up, third place finisher Cody Smith. I don't believe we've talked to him all season. Let's go and bring him up into the booth. Cody, I feel like I haven't talked to you all season. It's a very solid third place finish for you tonight. What was it that got that job done? Because we haven't really seen that top 3 pace out of you recently, but tonight you were fast all race. What was it that got the job done?
Yeah, man, it's good to talk to you guys finally. Hasn't been a great season, but I think tonight I did have pretty good pace. I think I had top 5 pace, probably not top 3. The one caution we had where a few of us pitted that helped me a lot and got me the track position that I needed. But yeah, it was good to actually have some speed. This is one of my best and favorite tracks, so I'm happy to get a top 3 for sure.
Yeah, and I might have been a little bit harsh with my wording, because you've definitely been really fast and really consistent all season. You're the second highest driver in the playoffs without a win. It's been a very solid season for you. You're yet to see victory lane, though. Looking ahead at the next couple of races, I think we got, let me just make sure I'm saying this right. We got Bristol, Vegas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. I mean, are there any of those four, in the next couple of weeks that you think you might have circled as an opportunity for you to win?
Well, I mean, Talladega is a shot for everyone to win, but that's a crapshoot. I always enjoy Bristol. I think I'll have decent speed there if I get to practice enough through the week. I doubt I'll have winning speed there. But those two right there, I'm definitely excited about both those tracks. I think I'll have a chance to be competitive speed-wise for sure.
And looking ahead to the playoffs, we talk about how you're the second driver in without a win, but you are still the second highest in points. Just looking at the playoff field, it's definitely looking like winning is going to be important to making your way into the next round, especially as we get further along in the elimination. What are some of your expectations as we go into the playoffs?
Yeah, it would sure be nice to break through with a win. I don't know. Generally, for me to probably win, I'll need some luck, but I mean, that's part of it. One of those where we get a caution where I can get some tires and maybe get a leg up on some guys. I mean, there's always a few tracks where I look forward to. Martinsville is one, Richmond here, and then the 2 plate tracks will definitely give me a shot. But I think you're right. You're going to have at least a win if you're looking to get to the Final 4.
And lastly, Cody, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to, a thank you to for your third place finish tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. It's been fun to go back and watch the races all year long. I got to thank Don for running the league and all the admin team. I am part of the admin team, and everybody works real hard to get this league to where it is. So thanks to all you guys.
Well, Cody, a very solid third place finish for you tonight. It was nice to finally talk to you. We're going to go and send you back.
Absolutely, man. Have a good one.
You too. And that was Cody Smith, driver the number 18. He comes home in third, best finish of the season for Cody Smith. At least I believe that's his best finish of the season, although I can't be sure on that. In any case, a very solid run for him and the entire number 18 crew, which it's iRacing, so that's probably just him. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight's race at Richmond. Definitely an exciting one, especially on that last restart. Thank you all for tuning in. That is going to do it for tonight's coverage. We will see you all next Monday night from the Bristol paved oval. That's definitely going to be a fun one. Elimination night from Bristol for the playoffs. I can't think of a better place to do it. I'll talk to you all Monday night.